My name is Jim McGillivray and welcome to the Pipe Box, your source for all things piping. Please give this video a like if you in fact like it, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel to give me more motivation to make more videos like this. We're going to go over some music today, and you can print that music out. Go back to the description of this video on my YouTube channel. There will be a link to a PDF there. Today I want to do a very significant piece of technique for you. I would like to do the Tachum. The Tachum, it's the only single grace note in piping that has its own name. It's a very onomatopoeic word, meaning that it sounds like what it's describing. Tachum. Tachum. Looks like this. Tachum. It appears in every time signature and especially in reels and competition marches. Even though it has its own name, it's not a complex movement. It's a simple D grace note played from one bottom hand note down to another, usually from C to low A and from B down to low G. Let me show you exactly how your fingers should operate when you play a Tachum. Let's play a C Tachum from C down to low A. I'm going to lift the D finger to make the D grace note, and then these three fingers here are going to hit the chanter at the same time. So lift the D finger, three fingers hit the chanter at the same time. Usually your little finger will come up happily on its own, but another level of this movement is to have the D grace note and the low A finger leave the chanter at the same time. And then three fingers hit the chanter. If we play a Tachum from B to low G, same principle. The low A and the B finger are up. The D finger comes up, and then those three fingers hit the chanter at the same time. Ta-gum. Ta-gum. That's the basis of the Tachum. Now I'm going to give you some exercises in Tachums that will range from dead easy to dead difficult. Here is the first exercise, even Tachums from B and C. One other small fingering point in this exercise. When you make the Tachum from B down to low G, be sure you don't lift the C finger up. The C finger stays down. The D finger comes up and the low A, B, and D fingers hit the chanter at the same time. I hope you didn't find that exercise too difficult. That's a fairly simple context for a Tachum. In fact, when we see Tachums in tunes, we're going to find them a little different. The first note is usually cut in a Tachum. So rather than playing, we'll play. We're going to see this in the next exercise. As you tap your foot in this exercise, it's really important that you tap your foot on the short note. I can't stress this enough. The beat in a Tachum, in the context we're playing it in right now, is on the short note. Here's the exercise. quicker. So, to reiterate, the beat in this exercise is on the short note, the short C's and the short B's. You might have a tendency to want to put the beat on the long note. When you do that, your Tachum sounds like this, Tachum, Tachum, and you'll be playing the tune ahead of the beat. So wait for the beat to play the short note. The G grace note of the short note should hit the chanter when your foot hits the floor. Tachum, Tachum, Tachum. And make sure appropriate fingers are hitting the chanter at the same time. So that exercise works the two most common Tachums, C to low A and B to low G. But there are other combinations that we will see in the next exercise. And a little quicker. So those are all of the basic Tachum movements. But there is more. If you're confident that you are playing exercises 2 and 3 accurately and on the beat, don't hesitate to speed them up. And you can, in the end, play them quite quickly as long as you're playing them correctly. In an ideal world, we can play these exercises at tune tempo, something like Tachum, 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 something like that. Work up to that tempo. Don't play a tempo that is beyond your technical capabilities. Now we're going to try a couple of tune simulations that will allow you to practice your Tachum in a more tune-like context. The first exercise is in 6/8 time. There are 2 main beats in each bar, and there are 6 eighth note pulses. You're going to hold the first dotted note as long as you can, and don't crush the Tachum as you play the exercise. Here's the exercise. And a little quicker. I hope you could hear how open and articulated the short Tachum notes were, even though the dotted note before them was played as long as I could hold it. You'll also notice that I played at a fairly sprightly tempo. Exercises are best when they can behave like tunes and be played at tune tempo. Once, of course, you have the capability to play the piece of technique well at that tempo. The final exercise I'd like to give you is a 2/4 march Tachum exercise. I'm going to play it for you first, and then we'll take a few minutes to unpack it. And a little quicker. I played that exercise pretty close to the tempo at which I would play a 2/4 march. That's when exercises are at their most valuable. If you can't play at that tempo, don't sweat it. Slow it down until you can play the exercise perfectly. Tempo will come later. There is one other significant rhythmic point I would like to make about this exercise. If we look at bar 2 of this exercise, you'll see that I've marked it with arrows. I put one arrow on the on beat and one arrow on the off beat. Now here's the point. The short note of the Tachum, the Tach of the Tachum, is on the off beat, like this. Do di Tachum, on beat, off beat. Do di Tachum, do di Tachum. That can be hard to do at tempo. You might find it helpful, as I have in the past, to use a metronome to see exactly where the beat and the offbeat fall. Whether you play to the metronome, I prefer to sing to it. Here is the metronome set at 64 beats per minute, and I'm going to double time it to 128 beats per minute and sing those Tachums. Dumpy Tachum, 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 dumpy Tachum. As you can hear, there's something happening on every one of those little beats, and it has to be consistent every time. As you learn more difficult tunes, you're going to run into more and more Tachums in various contexts. A 6/8 march like the Athol Highlanders, the first part, full of Tachums. First part of a competition march like Leaving Glen Urquhart. If you're going to play competition marches well, you need to play Tachums with control. There are also lots of Tachums in reels, but I prefer to teach them as GDEs, and they will be covered in another video. Be patient with your Tachums. Remember, don't play past your technical capabilities. From me, Jim McGillivray at the Pipe Box, good luck with your Tachums and good piping.